The thing about covering this league is game in, game out. I mean, this ends up being a blowout. This was a tense, hotly contested game between two top 20 teams, and we just get that every week.
Yeah, every week, every night. It's such a fun league to cover. Great coaches all around. Tremendous young men recruited to all these programs.
Look at that West Virginia bench. Bob Huggins with his kids. You know, Bob doesn't give off a lot of emotion. Very even-keel guy when you talk to him, but he loves his players.
Yeah, he cares for his players.
And so does Scott Drew. And Torian Prince comes out of the game for the final home appearance in his Baylor career.
And I know this Baylor team, they've struggled at home, but Scott Drew's team has a lot of fight in them. And I think they're going to win a couple games in the NCAA tournament because they have some versatility, they have some talent. They switch up their defenses. And for the first time in school history, they're going to go to the NCAA tournament for 3 straight years.
First time.
First time ever. Great job by Scott Drew here in Waco.
And one thing, if you're going to either struggle at home or away from home, how about a Huston Mills?
So cool.
The senior off the bench hits a 3. He'll never forget that moment. A walk on. Final seconds here in Waco. Maybe Baylor could use that road performance to do what you're talking about. They have played very well away from home. West Virginia's played well everywhere. What a year, and it's not over yet for Bob Huggins and his Mountaineers. They're the #2 seed in the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. 13 conference wins. They beat Baylor 69-58. Iowa State, Kansas from Allen Fieldhouse coming up. For Miles Simon, Dave Fleming saying so long.
Back here at Allen Fieldhouse, John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, #1 Kansas with an 11-10 lead, taking on Iowa State here. Senior Day, the 4 Kansas seniors honored on the court prior to the game. But that guy, Perry Ellis, what a 4-year career he's put together. And Bill Self recruiting him since his first high school game.
Exactly, John. There have been some great in-state players that have played at Kansas, but you have to probably go back to Wayne Simeon to have a guy so highly acclaimed coming in, and he's lived up to the billing year after year. We've watched him get better, and he's climbing up those scoring and rebounding charts all time at this storied program.
Yeah, Bill Self said they probably spent more time recruiting Perry Ellis than any player that they've ever gone after. Obviously a kid from Wichita, Kansas, and gets to play for his home state team, and those amazing numbers that he's put up. Consistency is the word that you associate with him. And obviously Ellis not the only senior as well. Hunter Mickelson honored, Evan Manning, another guy, Holly Road, Jamari Traylor. An emotional day for him as he was honored on the court.
Well, it's really remarkable when you think about the journey that Jamari Traylor has been on as a young boy in Chicago. A period of uncertainty in his life. He didn't have a home to call his own for a long time. I asked him what the difficult moments were, and he said, you know, I remember not being in school, being at my friend's house, and not knowing what was next for me. But what was next is a great mentor took him aside, got him involved in basketball, and now he's found a home right here in Lawrence, Kansas. He was ineligible academically, but he is most proud that in December he received his degree. He is the leader, the heart and soul of this team. Bill Self said one of my favorite players ever. And it is his last appearance here in Fog Allen, a new home of his own right here in Kansas.
Yeah, pretty special connection between Jamari and Bill Self. And there's Jamari's mom, who was down on the court. Tracy escorted him out to center court. And quite a scene. You could tell that she was moved by the pregame ceremony.
Well, how about Senior Day here in Lawrence, Kansas, John? They haven't lost the Senior Day since 1983.
Bill Self, his 13th year as the head man at Kansas, 12 straight regular season Big 12 titles, and well, here at Allen Fieldhouse, 205-9.
One of those losses came to Iowa State 11 years ago. That was that team with Curtis Stinson, Will Blaylock. Came in on a Saturday afternoon late in the year and knocked out the Jayhawks.
Sheldon on the bench, and a three-pointer goes down.
You know, there's some people that say he's been in a slump He had 33 against Kentucky. Bill Self told us yesterday, it's not a slump. He just needs to be more aggressive and look for his own shot.
Niang, left hook. He goes right. He goes left as well.
Amazing, amazing. I still think the most versatile offensive player in college basketball. The inside, the outside, the passing.
Ellis gets inside and one. And they get the foul on Niang.
Now remember this, John, about Iowa State. We talked about this earlier. Tremendous offensively. They're only playing 6 to 7 men a night, so they have to be very judicious with how they use their fouls. And quite frankly, sometimes it's almost like playing 5-on-0 at times because they have to play for the long game, the 40-minute game.
So the two seniors have been the story today. Niang with 7 for Iowa State. Ellis with 8 for Kansas. Good hands there by the Jayhawks. Ellis tracks it down.
Ellis should have gone right at Niang because Niang wasn't going to foul.
Graham handling. Kansas with the luxury of a 2-point guard attack. We're too strong with that left hand, but Graham pulls it down. Selden. And Lucas puts it back.
If there's been one X factor during this 10-game winning streak, it's been the energy and hustle and rebounding of the junior Landon Lucas. What a difference he's made, averaging 10 rebounds a game over the last 7. Bill Self told him about 3-4 weeks ago, if you'll rebound the ball and you set screens, we can get a lot out of you, and they really have.
Morris does such a good job taking care of the basketball. He's Niang, and George off with that 3. Kansas a 6-point advantage, looking to add on. Ellis a 3. Selden tracks it down. And now Graham goes baseline. Ball was deflected. Ellis off the window, and the rebound Iowa State. Thomas finds McKay for the easy dunk.
Thomas got caught in the mid-game there, and he didn't have the shot, but McKay, that's exactly where he needs to be. Get behind the ball on the baseline and lurk there until the ball works its way to you. Very well done.
Selden looking to find Lucas. Shot clock under 10. Step back Selden. Iowa State and Kansas met earlier in the year, and Iowa State won a game that Kansas led by 7 at the half innings.
Bill Self told us yesterday, John, we played well for 30 minutes, but we couldn't close the deal. Iowa State has won 4 of its last 5 games against the Jayhawks. Nice high low.
Good block by Niang. So the rejection from an unexpected source. And a good find by Morris. Those two, I swear there's some mental telepathy between Morris and Niang.
Well, that's the thing. If you run the floor, Monte Morris will find you. Uncharacteristically turning the ball over the last 5 games, but part of that, John, he's averaging 40 minutes a game in conference play.
And you heard that right, 40 minutes a game in conference play. Graham drills it 3. Devontae Graham, who has played so well. Bill Self says their most improved player, and had such a huge hand in defeating Oklahoma in Norman.
Absolutely. When you watch Oklahoma, Iowa State, and Kansas play, the one thing that comes to mind is all 3 of them can really put points up.
Niang We watched him in practice just burying three-pointers.
Well, that's why we talk about it. You mentioned the left hand, the right hand, the range outside, driving from the three-point line.
Ellis over Niang wouldn't go, but they get George with the foul. Second foul on George Niang. That could be big. Tied at 22 here in Allen.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Senior night is definitely something that a lot of people look forward to. Staying here 4 years helped me most by being more confident with my game. Being a Kansas kid, it's just been a blessing, and it's been an honor to play here.
What a career it's been for Perry Ellis. A guy who had such a successful high school career. You think back to 4 years ago, and yeah, faces in the crowd at Sports Illustrated. There he is, Perry Ellis, a 6'8", 225-pound senior. A game-high 19 points, surpassed 2,000 in his career. 4 straight state titles, amazing stuff.
And how about right underneath that, Breanna Stewart, who's the best women's player in college basketball, trying to go for 4 titles in North Carolina. But yeah, you're right, John. Very quiet, understated. I don't know about you, but I've said 50 words to the guy in 4 years.
Yep.
It's a little different than most of the relationships, but he has been rock solid after that great high school career in Wichita.
Yeah, that faces in the crowd from an issue 4 years ago today. Holly Rowe, you were listening in on the Iowa State huddle.
Well, for one thing, they wanted to put Deion Burton in here because they don't feel like Kansas has a strong enough matchup. His teammates in the huddle were saying, get in there, DB. Nobody's strong enough to contain you. So we'll see. But Chrome also cautioned his team. He wants more ball reversal. He wants to get this Kansas defense moving more side to side, get some more open looks.
And again, George Niang on the bench with those 2 fouls. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
Tied at 22.
And you know what, John, I was just thinking that. I'd throw caution to the wind today. I'd play him in the first half if it fits.
McKay, offensive rebound to the putback. Last couple games, he's been great on the boards, averaging over 13 a game.
Absolutely. We saw him get 17 a couple Saturdays ago. In the zone now by Iowa State. Kansas is, I think, better against the zone. They are man-to-man, John.
Zeldin kick out Graham.
That ball movement versus zone is exquisite. But then you run the risk of having to make those deep shots.
A reminder coming up tonight, UNC and Duke from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Morris now gets into the paint. Left hand wouldn't go. Burton fighting for it, out of bounds, and it'll be Kansas basketball. Iowa State by 2. Well, this weekend, it's the NBA on ABC. And Saturday primetime coverage starts 8 Eastern, the Rockets and the Bulls. And then, how about a little Sunday showcase, the Warriors and the Lakers. Coverage starts at 3 Eastern. Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant squaring off.
Okay, one pick to build a team right now. You're taking LeBron, I'm taking Curry, right?
To win more games this year, yeah.
Okay.
We were having that discussion in the car.
We just don't know if Steph Curry hasn't made everybody else around him. Right?
Sure.
There's that going right at DeAndre Burton. Travels it.
Burton, a turnover. Well, Iowa State on the road, and here in the early going, a 2-point lead for the Cyclones.
With LaFonso Ellis, I'm Agnew Burke back on College Basketball Studios, updating you on Alabama and Georgia. Here's Mike Edwards.
You got to locate the ball and pick up the man at the rim. They didn't do either.
Currently, the Bulldogs have the lead against the Crimson Tide by a couple. Also, Miami battling there atop the ACC with North Carolina currently down by 8 against Virginia Tech. We'll keep it posted throughout the day. Back to Boog and Frank.
Back here in Lawrence, John Shelby, Fran Fraschilla, and it's Iowa State by 2. Kansas basketball.
Oh, there it is.
Little lob for Diallo, who picks up The ball off the board. And Svi Mikhailuk off the mark. Diallo puts it in.
This is a good opportunity for the freshman. Phil Self getting him some early minutes.
Check Diallo's playing time has been up and down on the year.
They have the title in hand, right?
Yep.
Getting ready for next week in Kansas City. Just an unbelievable atmosphere. Watch the ball movement now for Kansas, John. It goes side to side, inside to out, and they wait for the perfect shot.
In and out for Graham, and now it's Morris. I'll tell you, one of the top point guards in the country. A little step back. That missed everything. And Selden pushing ahead. Wayne, the finger roll. Got it. Nicely done.
Let me tell you, there was a little Euro step in there.
Yep.
That happened early, but it was just enough to allow him to change direction on the defense.
Nader trying to find McKay. Loose ball. Kansas ball. Diallo inside. Burton knocked it away. And then Hallis Cook, trapped in the corner, needs some help. And able to get it up ahead. Cook could shoot it. An Oregon State transfer, Jersey City kid. Played his high school ball for Bobby Hurley's dad, Hurley Sr.
Absolutely. One of the legends, already in the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Feed inside and trailing the bucket.
Well, they're so good out top. They create indecision when they run that little high pick and roll. And Traylor's already made a shot, but he put it on the deck, got right to the rim.
Nader off the mark. He's been so good of late for them. Last 5 games, averaging 19 points. Selden buries a pull-up.
I'll tell you what. Remember, he's had a couple of big games this year. They haven't really needed him every single night, but that'll come in handy in the next 3-4 weeks.
Diallo steps in and rejects it. Good look to McKay. Left hand goes, and Jameel McKay with 10.
Nice drive by Cook, too. McKay relocated to the rim.
And a rebound for Iowa State. 3-point game, under 5 to go here in the first half. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, Holly Roll here in Lawrence. And McKay, big offensive rebound, and it knocked out of bounds. And Iowa State basketball tonight, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN. The rematch, UNC and Duke. Number 8, number 17. Duke won a final possession thriller when they met head-to-head at the Dean Dome.
And North Carolina is going for a share of its 6th regular season ACC title in 10 seasons. My thought process of coach here, if it gets over 5 and I'm Iowa State, I would not hesitate to play George Niang in the first half. Got nothing really to lose.
McKay has been a monster on the boards. He gets fouled, and he'll go to the line. Let's go to Holly.
Suspended earlier this season for 2 games and then had a coach's decision, did not play after academic issues. I talked to him yesterday at shoot-around, and he said, I am all in with this team. He actually sent Coach Prohm a tweet earlier, or a text earlier this week that said, Coach, thank you for suspending me. I don't know if I would have learned if you hadn't. He said that that suspension might have been the best thing that happened to him, to get his attention and know that his behavior was not acceptable. I kind of teased Jameel. He has these little temper tantrums during games sometimes, and he said, you know what? I haven't had one since the suspension. I am all in and all good. He's here to battle for the Cyclones.
And I think, John, when you have a mercurial personality like that, there's 2 ways you can go as a coach. You can challenge him and get after him, or you can sit him down and say, listen, we're not going to play you, even if it costs us a game or 2, which it did, but we need to get you right for the postseason.
That one rolls in, and Perry Ellis with 2 more. He's got 10.
got to know how to channel his energy and emotion, because when he's on, he's a spark for this team. Looks like they had a little extracurricular as that ball went in the basket, so they're going to go to the monitor.
Now, one of the other things to point out is, you're talking about player getting suspended. Just because a player gets suspended doesn't mean that the player doesn't like the coach or the coach doesn't like the player.
No, exactly right. And that's exactly what Steve Prohm, told us. He said, I really like this kid. I just got to teach him some lessons. Now, we're going to see the contact here in a little while, John. But it happens on the basket, and watch what happens. Ball's going to be taken out of the net. And they get tangled up a little bit. I honestly don't see much there.
No.
It's just, it's what we call, hey, last time I was at Grand Central Station, I got jostled worse than that.
So 4-point game as Lucas and Cook got tangled up.
That's all.
4-point Kansas lead. Niang exited with 2 fouls with the score tied at 22. So George continues to sit. And 4 minutes to go here, first half.
Remember, this is the same offense that these guys ran under Fred Hoiberg, and they're as good offensively as any team in the country.
Another good find for McKay, and he'll go back to the line. A good one here in Lawrence, the #1 team in the land, leading it by 4.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally.
I'm Adnan Burke, letting you know coming up on the Jayhawks reporting will be Reese Davis, Jay Williams, and Seth Weber breaking down the Sooners, who were strong on the road thanks to Buddy Hield, and also the UNC-Duke rivalry renewed. How much fun is that going to be? You'll find out coming up at the half. John, back to you.
All right, Adnan, thank you very much. Buddy Hield going to win National Player of the Year?
I am torn, John. I watched Denzel Valentine today. I'm torn. If I had a slight edge, I would honestly give it to Valentine. Now, here's the deal. Buddy Hield's had 9 games over 30 points. Denzel Valentine has had 9 double-doubles. I go back and forth every day, but I think they've clearly separated themselves from a pack of really good, mostly seniors. So Chris Dunn in there and maybe Ben Simmons, but those 2 guys have been absolutely outstanding.
I know Dan Dockich agrees with you on the broadcast today with...
Well, that's Stockholm Syndrome.
Fair enough.
He's in the Big Ten, but no, and I think Dan makes some great points about that. I have a hard time, but I think if I was starting a team, I would want the versatility of Valentine, but Buddy Hield, a sensational year.
Ellis high, arcing shot. It's a dozen for Perry on the season, averaging 16. Iowa State a little cold, 1 for its last 7. And Niang back at the scorer's table. No, beg your pardon. Nader's going to check back in at the scorer's table.
How about McKay today, huh? Showing a little offensive versatility. If this team is rested, John, going into the NCAA tournament, Iowa State, they can beat anybody in the country.
Green off the mark with the shot, and then Thomas fouling Frank Mason. That's his second personal foul. 2-point game here at Allen Fieldhouse, another signature barn, Cameron Indoor Stadium, and that'll be the site for Duke and North Carolina. Saturday primetime coverage starts at 6:30 Eastern.
Roy Williams 10-16 versus Duke since he returned home to Chapel Hill from a storied career here at Kansas.
Carlton Bragg, the offensive rebound of the putback.
He's a favorite, John. He's one of those guys, if you did the next group of potential stars in this league, about a year from now when he adds 10, 15 pounds, I think he's got a chance to be exceptional. His per 40-minute numbers are through the roof.
Morris looking for some space. Good hands, Mason. And he gets the turnover.
Well, that's uncharacteristic, but as we said earlier, Morris has turned the ball over 18 times in the last 5 games coming into today.
Selden's scoop wouldn't go. Bragg couldn't put it home. Selden has it back. That wouldn't go. And a foul on Iowa State. Abdul Nader picks up the foul, his first.
You know, speaking of Denzel Valentine, John, I think right now Kansas and Michigan State are playing as well as anybody in the country. And there's about 10, 12 teams in that same mix.
All right, here's the Big 12 championship bracket as it stands right now. Iowa State would be a 5 taking on Texas, the 4. And Kansas would await the winner of K-State and Oklahoma State. If Iowa State wins this game, then they move to the 4 seed. And Iowa State calls timeout. So 1:57 to go here. And from Lawrence, Kansas, a 4-point game. The Jayhawks on top. Back here at Allen Fieldhouse, John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, Holly Rowe. 1:57 to go here in this first half, and Kansas leading by 4.
What you don't want right now if you're Iowa State is one of those 6-8-0 runs by KU. They have done enough to stay in this game without Niang. He picked up his second foul, about 9 minutes to go in the half.
Morris, little hesitation, left hand too strong. McKay fighting for the loose ball. Iowa State basketball.
Well, Morris got all the way to the rim. John, if there's one Achilles heel, now they've played great defense, the Jayhawks, in the second half of the season in the league, but guarding the dribble is still something that concerns Bill Self.
Morris had trouble getting that ball in. Nader on Selden. And now Burton.
Yeah, I'd rather see Burton attack off the dribble and try to get to the rim.
Offensive foul on Devontae Graham as Alice Cook got in the way.
Easy call. Once you're established, you're allowed to move side to side. In retrospect, I'm not sure he had 2 feet on the ground in legal guarding position, but that's why we have the replay.
See where they go here. Shot clock down to 10. McKay inside, left hand. Little strong. Burton. That wouldn't go. And with just under a minute to go, it's Kansas ball.
Oh, great pass. Get this shot up quickly, you can get a 2-for-1 right here. I would shoot this. I like it. Oh, he got clobbered.
Nader got hit. No call. Mason bursting ahead. Mason rejected. Well, they get the foul.
And you say, John, why do you want Cook to shoot that ball quickly? Because if Iowa State can grab this defensive rebound, they'll get that second possession back, and it's a 2-for-1. 2 shots for you, 1 for Kansas.
So let me correct that. No foul. It'll just be the rejection and
take a look. Yeah. What do you think here? Perry Ellis whacked him.
And here's Burton flying in and swats it out of bounds. So 4-point game, 32.2 to go here in the first half.
It's the byproduct of the 2 fouls on Niang is going to be that he's going to be well rested when the second half starts, because he was hard to guard those first 11 minutes.
And again, it's an Iowa State team that plays, I mean, basically 7 guys consistently. Burton, the main guy that they bring off the bench when McKay does start. And today, Alice Cook's played significant minutes.
And I think that 7-man group is good enough game to game both to win the Big 12 title and also do a lot of damage in March because, John, they've got 6 guys scoring in double figures. Think about that.
Don't get a lot from the bench. Ellis at 3, no good.
One shot is what you want. You either want to be down 4, 2, or 1. I'd go at about 7. Watch your lob here. Just watch your lob here, John.
McKay, Morris hoists and hits. Thought about the lob, knocked down the 3.
They put that play in last night at the shoot-around. McKay went to the rim. Morris could have thrown it up, but he had room, knocked it down. We're out. We have a good ball game.
Monte Morris, his first 3 points of the half. As he buries that, let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, you started your seniors. That can go a lot of different ways, but they held their own for a long time. What kind of start did they get you off to?
They did fine. They did fine. You know, we didn't get off to a good start defensively at all, and we never turned it the entire half. You know, George didn't even play the last 10 minutes or so, and they totally controlled the game even though we're up 1. So we got to do a lot of things different second half.
Jamil McKay's really hurt you. What's your answer for him in the second half?
Hopefully we get one big guy that want to be out there and compete. I mean, that's the bottom line. He totally dominated us, and we got to get some guys going after the ball like he is.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Number 1 team in the country in a dogfight, 1-point game at the break as Kansas leads Iowa State. Time now to send it to Reese and the boys in Cameron for the Jeep Halftime Report.
Guys, thank you. The emotion of senior day. Kansas has the outright regular season title wrapped up. You never know what you're going to get. Oklahoma on the road to take on TCU. Buddy Hield's already had his senior night, so he just decided to go in and start shooting in the Horned Frogs' house. Knocks down the 3. You know, TCU hanging around in this one. Brandon Parrish would knock one down, but Buddy would finish up Jay Will with 21 and 6 rebounds.
And this Oklahoma team shot 50% from the field, 50% from the three-point line. They do such a good job of spacing you out, and you have to run them off the three-point line. You don't do that, you're not going to win.
But I'm concerned about those 16 turnovers.
75-67. Oklahoma will be the 3 seed. West Virginia and Baylor.
2 grown men right there.
Yes, sir. Indeed. But you know what? Ooh. The grown men from West Virginia controlled this thing. You see Issa Ahmad with a jam, then you're going to see another bucket. Seth, you like this West Virginia team once tournament time comes.
They've improved their half-court defense. Jay Sean's making shots. They're the other Big 12 team that can make it to the Final Four besides Kansas.
They'll be the 2 seed in the conference tournament. How about senior day for the great Denzel Valentine against Ohio State? And boy, did Denzel do his thing, finding Gavin Schilling. Thank you very much. He had 13 assists. And then Valentine. You know, a lot of times they say it's not a smart shot, but it is for him.
23 points for Valentine. Great senior night. But Aaron Harris, 7 assists in that ball game. That's key as he's kissing the floor, leaving his legacy as a Michigan State Spartan.
I hope he had some Purell hands.
That legacy when he kissed the floor?
Yeah.
He's in love with the game.
You don't know where those shoes have been. They've been walking across those. Here's Lenardi's 1 and 2 seeds right now. Michigan State, and probably an opportunity for the Spartans to get a 1 seed should they win the Big Ten tournament. Of course, Indiana's going to be the #1 overall seed there. 6:30 Eastern time. Cameron Indoor. We just saw the running of the crazies coming in from Krzyzewskiville to get ready for North Carolina. Jay Williams, Seth Greenberg here. Denzel Valentine had a great senior day. Michigan State has finished strong. But Izzo's pushing the buttons right now.
I talked to Tom Izzo last night. He is really challenging this team because it's close to March. And in March, you cannot take a play off. You can't make a mistake. He's developing habits for March right now.
I just love that this team had 29 assists in this ball game this afternoon. And the one key I'm looking for from Michigan State, who else besides Denzel Valentine can be a playmaker? Aaron Harris with 7 assists today. That's a great sign for the Spartans moving forward.
Everybody was handing it out like candy for Michigan State. As they get the victory over Ohio State, the Buckeyes in a lot of trouble. They'll need some kind of run in the Big Ten tournament, one would think, to make it into the NCAA field. We'll come back here to Cameron, where it's going to be locked down crazy when the Tar Heels come in, trying to get their share of the ACC title. We'll get you up to date on regular season races when you come back.
This halftime report is presented by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Be ready for anything winter throws at you. Welcome back to the Jeep Halftime Report.
SEC regular season decided Texas A&M could get a share against Vanderbilt, who at one time was pretty hot, but Daniel House making it his house in Reed Arena. DJ Hogue, the sweet look to Tyler Davis. Tyler Davis had the winning bucket against Kentucky.
This looks like a team that can get to the second weekend. They're athletic, they defend, they're physical, and they got a low post player.
You put Texas A&M in the right bracket, they're a team that can make it to the Final Four.
76-67 to A&M, and at least a share of the SEC regular season. Had to split it with Kentucky because in senior day, my old Kentucky home, Marcus Lee on the business end. Tyler Eulis had 14 assists, and Alex Poitras, a little bit of a star-crossed career, finished with a dozen, and then Murray with 22.
Look, you get some post work as well. How about Scal and BCR and then Marcus Lee combined for 30 points and 19 rebounds.
18 and 9. Now, as you look at the last 4 in, first 4 out, LSU's going to have some trouble. But I want to point this out because I don't want anybody to miss it. You think John Calipari's thinking back to a certain technical foul called against Isaac Humphries at Texas A&M that kept them from getting the 1 seed in the SEC tournament and the outright
conspiracy. It's a conspiracy.
I thought it was the right call. I told you that.
Can't do that.
I agree with you. Miami and Virginia Tech. This carries great significance to our game. Devin Wilson driving, scoring. Hokie, Tech, VPI up by 9 off the turnover. Come on, Seth, sing along with me. Angel Rodriguez
for 2 more weeks.
Oh no!
Virginia Tech with an 11-point lead.
I'm back.
All right, here are the stakes. Here are the stakes here as it pertains to the Virginia Tech-Miami game. If the Hokies are able to hang on and win that game, then a North Carolina victory here would give the Tar Heels the outright ACC championship. Some significance there.
I think it's tremendous significance. You start the season to win a league championship before you can win a conference championship. It's your body of work. That's what everyone started to do. Miami's got to finish the deal to have a chance. Carolina, the stakes are higher.
And then for North Carolina, you have to remain consistent with who you are. They're a team that plays inside out. They got away from that in their first game against Duke. On the road, they were 1 of 13 from the three-point line. Keep throwing the ball to Bryce Johnson.
And if they take Bryce Johnson away, then take him back. Take him back. There's Matt Jones out on the floor warming up. Seth, I was just kidding. You're not mad at me, are you?
I got 2 more weeks.
That's all good.
This halftime report is presented by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Be ready for anything winter throws at you.
Don't forget, brackets open Sunday, March 13th, so fill out yours, ESPN.com/bracket, or download the Tournament Challenge app. Seth and Jay will tell you during bracketology exactly who you should pick and to make sure that you win your bracket challenge and perhaps cash and prizes from people who might be offering such things. Duke and Carolina tonight. The Crazies are ready to go. They've forgiven Jay Will, I think. This has been the Jeep Halftime Report.
The 10 universities of the Big 12 Conference are changing lives by turning young women and men college athletes into successful graduates through academic support and athletic scholarships. View their amazing stories at Big12championsforlife.com.
Back here at Allen Fieldhouse, and we get ready for our second 20 minutes. Number 1, Kansas leading Iowa State by a point. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, and Holly Roll. An outstanding first half, very entertaining senior day here in Lawrence, and the seniors on both sides making an impact.
Well, they really have, John, and Jameel McKay's been a nice surprise for Iowa State. Of course, George Niang with foul trouble, but he still contributed early. McKay, the energy guy for Steve Prohm's team, as they're down only 1. And you'll love the way he's playing because he can rebound it, he can run it. And this guy got off to a terrific start, Niang, before picking up that second foul. When we talk about Kansas seniors, it's about Perry Ellis today. 12 points, doing it in a multitude of ways. And why not, John? Final game here at Allen Fieldhouse.
For more on Iowa State, we send it over to Holly Rowe.
Well, I asked Coach Steve Prohm how they kept in this game with George Niang on the bench for 9 minutes. He said Jameel McKay played like he's capable of playing and kept us in this ball game. But make no mistake, they are going to immediately go to George Niang right here. If not for the first play out of the game, he said we have to establish him. Look for him to touch the ball early and often here to start the second half.
First half, Jameel McKay was outstanding. 15 points and 7 rebounds.
That's exactly right, John. He kept his team in it. Now, official Steve Holson is back in the locker room. They're checking on his knee, so this is going to be a two-man officiating crew with Doug Sermons and Keith Kimball. A little bit different, John, obviously.
Niang puts it on the floor, the lob, and there's McKay.
Well, Howie was right on target. They went to Niang, and he facilitated that play, didn't he?
Good things happen when the ball is in his hands, whether it's a pass or a shot.
A little high-low action now by Kansas.
Lucas inside, able to reverse it, put it in.
That's good coaching. Bill Self went right at Niang with Landon Lucas, and they threw that ball all over the top because Niang is going to provide limited resistance with those two fouls.
Thomas, excellent shooter, pulls up and hits. He's been their best three-point shooter this year.
When you look around the league and you can go with a variety of guys who have improved so much, John, Matt Thomas is on that list. There's no question. And I'd go with Lucas again.
Ellis, and he'll go and shoot 2 free throws.
You see what McKay did with his hands? Instead of playing straight up to the ceiling, he came down, and that made an easy call for Doug Sermons, and he's telling the official that right now.
Kansas in the first half, only 5 free throw attempts, and they only made 1.
Watch McKay, John. Gets caught with his hand in a cookie jar. Now, if he just plays 2 hands vertically, he's fine. You have to score over him, but because he came down on Ellis, it was an easy call.
Yeah, reached and then pulled it back. Ellis gets them both.
Now, there are some people cynically who think 2 officials is better than 3, because that's 1 less guy to make bad calls. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. But
that is an old coach joke right there. My goodness. That last foul on Landon Lucas, his second.
Now, these are 2 excellent officials. Doug Sermons has been in the Final Four. Keith Kimball, a rising star.
Morris, who buried that 3 at the end of the first half.
I just wonder, as we head into conference tournament play, you think of the
fatigue.
Yeah, a little bit with Monte Morris, the things he's been asked to do for this team all year. I said 40 minutes. It's actually 39-9.
We round up here.
Yeah,
on
I know
ESPN.
we do. Yep. There was a stretch a couple weeks ago where he was playing over 40 minutes in Big 12 play because they've had 3 overtime games.
Nice work there as Mason gets inside. Thomas looking for some help. Out of bounds. That was off of Niang.
Thomas got caught in the air with nowhere to throw it, and he told Niang as he ran by, "My fault."
And the bump, and that foul is on Monte Morris, his first. Let's bring in Holly Rowe.
Well, Monte Morris, they are very aware of the minutes he's playing. They've actually modified his pregame routine. He doesn't come out with the team very soon. They've limited how much he warms up. And in fact, at halftime just now, he was the very last person out of the locker room. They are trying to keep him off his legs at all costs.
On the season, averaging 38 minutes a game, and Fran documented 40 a game in Big 12 play. Thomas, corner 3, got it.
How about this guy, John? I can't talk about the guy enough. He's came into this season, Thomas, shooting 33% behind the arc. If you look out there right now, on Iowa State. He's the highest ranked recruit, but he had 2 so-so years. This year, he's been at an all-conference level. He really has. He's not necessarily first-team all-conference. We'll get into that later.
Niang, little shake and bake. Selden toss back, Graham a 3. He's had a really good year shooting the 3. Devontae Graham at 43%.
How about the little flip back by Selden?
Morris inside, great look. Oh, and a block. Selden out of nowhere swatted it.
Well, let's start first with the unselfishness. You see, Selden's just going to screen off, flip it back, and then McKay needs to get off his feet quicker right here. Took his time, and that allowed Selden to get back into play. 2 outstanding plays by Selden, who doesn't get credit for some of the dirty work he provides for this Kansas team.
So a big swing, and Kansas with the ball up 4. Ellis inside, short shot wouldn't go. Niang the board. Niang gets up ahead of steam, and that rolls in.
You know how hard that is to do? He shot it over 2 guys, and he does it equally well with both hands, John.
Niang the board, and the Cyclones pushing ahead. Now Morris. Thomas a 3.
Yep.
And now they'll go to the possession arrow. It belongs to Kansas. 15:53 to go here, second half. 2-point game.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2016 John R. Wooden Award Men's Player of the Year. And Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
We got robbed. We've been robbed. Hey, what? We got robbed.
What?
My rings are gone.
You ain't got no rings.
Sure don't.
Don't worry, Mrs. Hooper. If you ever do get a ring, State Farm can cover your jewelry in case of a robbery.
Mama's got no rings.
Really, baby?
I want a ring.
Somebody need to change his baby. Ooh.
State Farm, keeping your home court covered.
Back here in Lawrence, John Chumby, Fran Fraschilla, Holly Rowe, 2-point game. Iowa State trying to knock off #1 for the second time this year. If the Cyclones win, they're the 4 seed in the Big 12 championship. With a loss, then they move to the 6 seed in the Big 12 championship. Kansas has locked up that 1 spot, 12 straight regular season titles in the Big 12 for Bill Self. An unbelievable accomplishment.
You think about this Iowa State team, they were ranked in the top 10 for most of the year, and they may end up a 6th seed in the league tournament.
Graham fires. Loose ball, and what do you have? Kansas basketball. Keith Kimball on it again, only 2 officials right now.
A good hustle by Traylor, because when he throws it off McKay, if McKay is out of bounds, take a look right now. Traylor is up in the air, and he throws it off McKay, who's out of bounds, which means the ball is out of bounds. Kansas keeps it.
I think when Traylor jumped, he might have been stepping on the baseline there. Selden buries a 3. 13 for Wayne. He has the most 3-pointers on their team.
John, when Selden, Graham, and Mason are in double figures, they are 13-0 this season, so it speaks to the balance that Kansas has and needs, for that matter.
Yeah, they don't have that post look, quick release. Niang for 2 more.
I mean, did Lucas have any chance at that?
So quick.
They're looking high-low. They throw the ball to the corner of the board as well as anybody.
Traylor on the move and off the glass for 2. He's got 6.
Seems like he's been here since Aaron Miles and Langford were here, but he came in with Ben McLemore. They were freshmen. They sat out their freshman year. They were a great scout team for the team in 11 that went to the Final Four.
Well, look at him dive on the court, and they'll get the possession arrow, and it belongs to Iowa State. Now, Jamari Traylor diving on the floor on Monday. He was rising up. Our Rise Up brought to you by Street Fighter V. How about this dunk?
He was in rarefied air.
That's rising.
Yep.
And they loved it. Look at the bench. I mean, the bench was going crazy for him. And a travel and a turnover.
You know, there's a shot of that bench where Svi Mikhailuk is saying, oh my God, oh my God. You know? Now he's trilingual, but it was a pretty good way to capture the emotion of that bench.
Five-point Kansas lead. Jayhawks with the basketball. And Graham able to hit. Biggest lead of the day for Kansas at 7.
Yep, and quietly a great screen by Jamari Traylor.
Morris off the glass and good with the answer.
He's had a couple of those opportunities today. That one went, but he's been able to get deep. And again, John, one Achilles heel for that Kansas defense, dribble penetration. It's a team that has shored its defense up in the last month.
Mason back the other way. Hesitation, flips it in.
And both of these point guards now getting deep in the lane and causing a little havoc.
Niang absorbed some contact. That was whacked out of bounds. And it belongs to the Jayhawks.
And I thought the way the game's officiated this season, that much contact is usually a foul.
And Steve Prohm letting Doug Sermons know it. Kansas, biggest lead of the game. They're up by 7. Back in Lawrence, Kansas by 7 at the half. They honored that man, Bob Davis, 32 years at the mic as a Jayhawks radio broadcaster, one of the legends in broadcasting, also a former voice of the Kansas City Royals. And Bob has been on the mic for so many great calls. Let's take a listen. First half.
Out of Niang. Niang into the lane for a one-hander. Blocked by Nicholson. Here comes Mason to the other end, and he lays it in. Wow, that was right.
And there he is, a class act, great guy. You and I have both known him a long time.
Oh, great sense of humor. I was not going to say that it's not only senior day, but it's also senior citizen day.
Come on.
And Allen, I'm not going to say it, John, but one of the great guys, Holly Rowe, isn't he?
He is so special to us. We absolutely love Bob Davis. We want to give him a loving goodbye. You know, he is retiring after all these years to be with his wife, and it's just so sweet. I asked him, why leave now? And he said, you know, my wife needs me at home, and I want to be there for her. He said, I've had a good run, no regrets looking back, and what a lovely man. We will sure miss him.
And I tell you, the fans grow so attached, and he was just mobbed pregame. And it was a special thing. I mean, there were fans that made stuff for him, made collages and all sorts of things. And Bob Davis certainly will be missed. His final game here at Allen Fieldhouse.
You grow up as a Jayhawk fan listening to the guy from the time you're like 5 years old, and he becomes part of your family, especially this family.
Morris can't hit. McKay deflected. Morris tracks it down.
Here comes a 3.
Thomas now. And Mickelson pulls down the board. Iowa State had an advantage there. There were 2 Kansas players on the floor.
Yeah, they had the scramble situation off the offensive rebound, but Thomas couldn't knock it down. Great ball movement.
Mickelson finds Traylor, couldn't finish. And it'll be Iowa State basketball.
Remember Traylor threw it off McKay a couple minutes ago? McKay just returned the favor.
Brandon Green checking back in as Selden will grab a seat.
You have to think twice if you're Iowa State about going zone when you have Green and particularly Graham out there, and that's why Green's in the ball game right now to loosen that zone up.
McKay grabs a seat. Deontay Burton checks in.
I like a little two-man game, ISO maybe for Niang right here. Watch inside.
Niang with the ball, working on Mickelson. Shot clock under 10 as they find Burton. Back to Thomas, and he's fouled. 7-point game, number 1. In control. Bill Self's team trying for another home win. Well, back here in Kansas after number 11, Louisville, number 4, Virginia. Tonight, you got Bucci and Levy, as they'll have the highlights from a huge day in college basketball, the NBA, NHL, latest from spring training, UFC happening tonight, Sports Center at night, tonight after college hoops with those two fine gentlemen.
Yep. Virginia trying to become the second team in the ACC regular season to go undefeated at home. Miami's done that trick.
How good's Miami?
Love them. Tell you what, veteran guards, experience, size up front, excellent coach. One of those 12 or 14 teams that can definitely get to Houston. Saw them dismantle Notre Dame on Wednesday night.
You know, Iowa State's a team that gets all the focus, but it is interesting to watch the college landscape and how many teams are affected by transfers.
Well, that team particularly has 3 former Big 12 players in that starting lineup. Kamari Murphy from Oklahoma State, Angel Rodriguez from Kansas State, of course Sheldon McClellan, former Longhorns, having a terrific year.
They got Burton with the foul on Mason, and for Deontay, that is his first.
I think what I like about Michigan State and Kansas a lot, and they're not the only teams in that top echelon that have this, they have depth. And they have depth both in the backcourt and up front. This is Bill Self's highest scoring team since he's been in Lawrence in 13 seasons. And obviously they shoot the 3-ball really well.
Yeah, second in the country. Only Michigan State shoots it better. One of the things that has helped them win that Big 12 championship this year. They're 12th in a row, but the 3-point shot, which hasn't always been a huge part of the Bill Self recipe.
Absolutely, and many years they eschewed the 3-point shot in favor of going inside, and they don't have that offensive firepower inside. Of course, they have Ellis, but everybody else is sort of a role player. That left-hand hook is unbelievable, John, isn't it?
Indeed.
It's unbelievable.
Priscilla today with Eschew and Mercurial up 2-0.
You're the guy from Boston College and Regis High School. You know, you can keep up with me. I went to Brooklyn College. Your family paid a lot more in tuition, trust me.
Kick out, shot clock under 10. Mason going to work. Looking for some help. Mason finds Green, who can really shoot it. And Burton pulls down the board. And now here's Iowa State, a chance to chip away at that 4-point deficit.
And they can put points on the board, so you have to stay very focused if you're that Kansas defense. I would put the ball, I would let George Niang handle the ball as much as possible.
He found Cook wide open and buries it. It's a 1-point game.
And a great screen on the weak side by Deontay Burton. Great find as well.
And they get the block on Cook.
You got Morris, who is obviously an outstanding point guard, but Niang is such a good facilitator. And good skip to the weak side. They used all 50 feet of the floor.
Cook, a really good shooter, and with the departures of guys like Niang and Nader, will be a bigger part of their rotation next year.
There's an opportunity.
And that hit the sideline. It's a turnover, and it's Iowa State basketball.
If you think about next year, John, if Monte Morris comes back with Thomas Burton, Mitru, Long, Cook. Those 5 guys on the perimeter will be as good as any.
They got another guy that just signed on as a transfer, Darryl Bowie, who played at Northern Illinois with Nader. And he's committed to play his 5th year next season in Ames.
If you're Hallis Cook, you've got to find Niang sooner, and that's what Niang is telling him right now. I'm open, get it to me. This has got to be a quick hitter here with 12 on the clock.
Morris gets inside, finds Burton, and puts it in.
That was really good footwork by Burton, who, by the way, changed shoes at halftime, I think, because he came out with white ones in the first half. But watch him hold his ground, wait for the traffic to clear, and then finish. Iowa State with a kaleidoscope of colors, John. You know, out here you got guys with black shoes, pink shoes, peach. Give me a break.
First lead for the Cyclones since it was 40-39. So Iowa State up 2. For Kansas, they've won 39 in a row here at Allen Fieldhouse. Selden puts it on the floor. That wouldn't go. But Selden went down hard. He'll shoot 2. They get the foul on Burton. That is number 2.
I know last time that they lost, who was it, Oklahoma State in conference?
Yes.
Marcus Smart did the backflip.
The last time they lost overall, it was January 5th, 2014 against San Diego State. Steve Fisher's team came in, and
you know what I remember about that game? They dominated the glass.
Morris pulls down the rebound. 1 point, Iowa State lead.
I was here in 2005 when Iowa State won in here on a Saturday afternoon. Wayne Morgan's team was led by Curtis Stinson and Will Blaylock.
Burton, a 3. Got it. He is a pretty dynamic offensive player. There's a lot of skill there.
Absolutely. He has a lot of the variety that Niang has. A little better athlete. Not comparing him to Niang as far as All-American status, but hard to guard. He's done it all year, John. We've seen vicious dunks from him. We just saw the finish earlier, and then he's got this range. Transfer from Marquette, like McKay, grew up with McKay.
How about their last 9 points coming from the bench? That is not standard for them. They had been scoreless prior to that. Steve Prohm with the troops rallied. One of the other things Iowa State trying to do is, besides end this home court streak for Kansas, they're also trying to knock off #1 for the 2nd time. And
wasn't it Oklahoma on a big Monday where Oklahoma was voted #1 earlier that day, right?
Yep.
And that night, a few hours later, they did the trick. Now, good defense by Burton that time. Ellis tried to seal him.
Clock under 10. Selden gets inside. Ellis the tip. And the senior with the big bucket. And Perry's got 16.
Selden did a good job of driving on his former high school teammate, George Niang, who had to come over and help. And that allowed Ellis to get loose.
Niang working on Taylor. Oh, in and out. Huge 3. Devontae Graham buries it, and Kansas back in front by a point.
Unsung. Devontae Graham unsung on this #1 team.
Graham buries the 3, and we'll check in on Deontay Burton when we return.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Cub Cadet. Welcome to Strongsville.
Back here in Lawrence Senior Day, and prior to the game, the 4 seniors for Kansas being honored. Evan Manning, Jamari Traylor, Hunter Mickelson, and of course, Perry Ellis, who got such a great hand pregame. Holly Rose standing by with one of the proud fathers here this afternoon.
Well, it's quite remarkable that Danny Manning, the head coach at Wake Forest, who should maybe be playing today, is here watching his son Evan. How were you able to make this happen with your basketball team?
We're very fortunate in our scheduling. The ACC accommodated us and giving me a chance to come here for Senior Day. So we had a bye this last game of ACC regular season, and so I had a chance to get here. I'm very thankful and happy to be here.
You have been so beloved here and made history in this building, but what did it feel like when he walked out there and you realized Evans made a name for himself and is loved here?
Very happy for him. You know, he's been someone that's always wanted to be a part of this history and tradition, and for the last 4 years he's had that opportunity. I know it's something that he's very proud of, and we as his parents are extremely proud of it.
For you, Wake Forest, it was a difficult season at times this year, but what do you think you've built on that next year could be really something special?
Well, Holly, we're built on our foundation. Our young guys have really taken steps this year. They've get to a point where we're really competitive in the ACC, and I think we're close.
What kind of heartbeat do you have when you come back into this building now, sitting in the stands watching this?
You know what, so many fond memories from being with my teammates to coming here and watching Evan be a part of this program and seeing him run up and down the court. It's just a very special and fortunate feeling.
Thank you so much. Oh, one last question. You recruited Perry Ellis all those years ago. What do you think about him and how he's had a great career?
Great career, outstanding career, been so consistent from day one all the way through. He's going to leave at the top of the record books in scoring and rebounding, and very happy and proud of him.
Thank you, Coach Manning.
Thank you.
Pretty cool to see the dad get a chance to see his son on Senior Day as Evan Manning got a start. And as Holly alluded to, Danny Manning got a chance to recruit Perry Ellis. So, Fran, we got ourselves a call here.
Now, what's happened, John, take a look at the elbow. Now, there's going to be something interesting that's going to take place here. Oh, now he's going to shoot it. Okay. Originally, because it was a flagrant one, it didn't look like Burton was going to shoot the free throws. So Steve Prohm would have been able to choose anybody on his bench. But Burton changed his mind, and he's going to shoot him anyway. Had it been a common foul and Burton was hurt, Bill Self would have been allowed to pick any of the other 4 players on the court. It's all moot because Burton recovered miraculously because he likes adding up those points in the scorebook.
So with a Band-Aid added to his face and a 1-point Iowa State lead.
Now that happened at the point of interruption after the 3-point shot by Kansas, so Iowa State takes the ball out as well as having already shot those free throws.
Niang off the glass, 2 more, and George on the game with 20.
Don't take for granted how good he is in that low box. I just can't think of a more versatile scorer in the country than he is from every place on the floor.
Trailer, and that'll go. Jamari with 8 here on Senior Day.
Like George banged his knee with Trailer, and he's limping up. Remember, Kansas with more depth, but these Iowa State Cyclones have done a really good job today controlling the tempo and scoring.
Niang inside, finds McKay, who gets rejected but fouled. Selden picks up his second.
Take a look now. You'll see that drive, and Niang's going to bang knees right there. And if Morris doesn't have the ball, John, down the stretch, Niang's got to have it. But, of course, that's not rocket science. That's how this team plays. They play through those guys.
This is a veteran Iowa State team, and for all the teams that come in here, Kansas has not lost here this year. And we mentioned 39 straight wins at Allen Fieldhouse. But this group of Cyclones, they were excited about an opportunity to knock off the Jayhawks in this building.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. You mentioned the veterans. These guys have won a lot of games together. Their senior day earlier in the week was emotional.
Ellis inside, can't hit. Offensive rebound of the putback, 1-point game.
Remember, Bill Self told Holly Rowe that he needed to find a big guy that would match McKay. Lucas has that opportunity now down the stretch.
Shot clock under 10. Morris going to work. Lost the dribble, flips it up. Lucas the board. And Kansas with a chance to take the lead.
Kansas switched out, and Morris was not able to get by Perry Ellis. Good defense.
Niang and Ellis battling. Mason weaving through traffic. Left hand wouldn't go. Niang the board.
Good challenge by McKay, and Niang hung in there. And I think this is where Monte Ellis has got to orchestrate this offense. But you see now the Bulldog, Frank Mason, guarding Niang. Not as much of a mismatch as you would think.
Well, they get Mason with the foul. Yeah, Frank Mason is put together. I mean, he is strong.
If I were Mason right there, I would have just walled up and I wouldn't have reached in. Just play straight up and make him shoot over you. We know he can do it.
16 fouls on Kansas. On Kansas, 5 on Iowa State. Holly, what do you have?
Well, you're seeing a very motivated George Niang here for Iowa State. 21 points so far today. Yesterday's shoot-around, when we talked to him, he said, you know, I've never won in this building. They came really close his freshman year, but Ben McLemore hit a heartbreaking shot to win it for the Jayhawks. Niang said, hey, it's my senior day here in this building, and you're seeing a very motivated effort from him.
And Holly, his first 3 years in here, he's averaged 20 points a game. He was a freshman on that team when Ben McLemore banked in that 3 from down the middle that put what looked like an Iowa State win into overtime. Kansas came back and won.
Selden weaving through and gets it to go. Back to a 1-point game. Yeah, George admitted, he said freshman mindset at the time. He said McLemore at that shot, and he said, oh boy, we're in trouble.
Yeah. What I love about this game today is just the execution on offense.
Well, these are 2 elite offensive teams. Morris weaves into the paint, backs out.
See if he can get by Lucas now.
Pull-up jumper wouldn't go. Perry Ellis the rebound, and a chance for Kansas to take the lead. Selden. Loose ball. Morris able to pull it down.
Smart. He didn't have the break. Thomas tried to get ahead. Once he realized he didn't have the 2-on-1, he pulled it out. Morris and Niang, no place to go anywhere else.
Cook a 3. That missed everything. And Ellis tracks it down. Closing it on 3.5 to go. 16,300 and everybody on their feet.
Oh, he might have almost lost that ball.
Green. Big rebound, Lucas, and he gets fouled. 71-70, 3:25 to go. Iowa State on top.
I'm Adnan Burr. Coming up, it will be North Carolina taking on Duke. We're just about 40 minutes away. College game day coming up at the top of the hour. Certainly it'll be exciting to see if Duke can win their 5th straight over North Carolina or if the Tar Heels will respond. We're almost time for game time. Cannot wait. Back to you guys.
All right, Adnan, thanks. Back here in Lawrence, 1-point game. And the #1 team behind at the moment. Senior day here at Allen Fieldhouse, and the seniors for Iowa State, Niang and McKay, 41 points. And Kansas, meanwhile, has gotten a nice effort from Perry Ellis. He's got 18. Jayhawks basketball, and they get it into Lucas.
Iowa State shooting 50% today. Kansas in the last month holding Big 12 opponents to 35%.
Basic kick out Selden. Selden off balance. Lucas. Putback is good. Kansas the lead.
What do we say about Lucas? Bill Self was unhappy with the energy of the bigs. Lucas has responded down the stretch.
Yeah, he was unhappy at practice yesterday with the bigs, and he mentioned it to Holly at the half.
Well, that's exactly what Bill Self just told his team in the huddle. He said, nothing that matters before matters now. What we do as a team is we close. And then he looked at his bigs on the side and he said, you guys go out there and play your you-know-what's off. Landon Lucas came right out of the huddle and did just that.
Well, I'll tell you, John, when you play your you-know-what's off, it makes a big difference. Watch out.
Graham underneath in the bucket, and the lead's 3.
I would take a timeout here. It's a good timeout by Steve Prohm. Niang is banged up a little bit. Make it a full if you can, but give your team a chance to rest. Watch Graham get all the way to the basket, and then just a bad luck for Iowa State. Good luck for Kansas. Come up with that loose ball. How about the amount of hustle play Selden has made today? Good find right here.
Jayhawks on a 6-0 run. 12 straight indeed. And they'll go to the Big 12 championship as the 1 seed. With a win, Iowa State would move to the 4 seed. With a loss, they'd fall to the 6 seed. 90-4 at home when ranked under Bill Self.
George Niang very animated in that timeout. He still is. Still only a 1-possession game.
A little bit of a drought here for Iowa State. Niang puts it on the floor, gets rejected. And then Graham comes away with it. Lucas.
Man, hot potato.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Devontae Graham put that ball on behind his back right in front of us.
Ellis, it'll go. 20 for Perry Ellis on senior day. They find Niang, reverse, wouldn't go. And that's huge.
And you don't see that often. Niang is a technician around the rim.
Mason, clock winding down. Graham. That's the dagger right there. An 11-0 Kansas run.
Bill Self came out of that timeout. They've done this his whole career. They set the little ISO for Ellis on Niang. He goes to work. They call that move the blender because of the way he spins in there, and great way to finish out your career down the stretch. John, we're going to head to Kansas City on Wednesday, and it is going to be unbelievable. What a year in the Big 12.
Best conference in America.
I think it's the best tournament in America in Kansas City right now.
Well, the best rivalry in America comes your way at 6:30 Eastern Time. It'll be UNC and Duke from Cameron Indoor Stadium. So from one magnificent facility to another. Iowa State takes a timeout. All right, so we mentioned earlier what could happen with Iowa State with a win, with a loss. Here's the bracket as it stands for the Big 12 championship. Now, coming up on Wednesday, K-State will take on Oklahoma State. Texas Tech will play TCU. Now, Kansas awaits the winner of that 8-9 game. And as of now, it's Iowa State in the 5 spot. With a win, they move to the 4 seed. But with a loss, they would end up as the 6 seed. And they would play Baylor.
Amazing, amazing. When you look at the 4-5 and the 3-6 in this league, and they're all going to the tournament, it's going to be absolutely outstanding. Texas Tech won today. They're likely in the NCAA tournament. Tremendous job by Tubby Smith.
Don't forget, by the way, to fill out your brackets Sunday, March 13th. You can fill it out at ESPN.com/bracket or download the Tournament Challenge app. A week from tomorrow, and everybody gets their brackets going. Presented by Allstate and Acura.
So if Iowa State, John, is the 6th seed, they may play Oklahoma.
That's correct.
Which would be a matchup of 2 teams who've spent much of the year in
the top 10.
The top 10, and they're going to meet in a 3-6 game in the quarterfinals. Think about that.
Yeah.
There's something absurd about that.
No doubt.
It's kind of like Michigan State being number 2 in the country, but they didn't win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Although they're playing great, and they played great today at home against Ohio State on Senior Day. If you don't steal it here, you got to start fouling.
Kick up ahead to Green. Oh, great job. And fittingly enough, the punctuation mark, the senior, Perry Ellis, 22.
Same thing now if you're Iowa State. You got to foul right away and elongate the game. How about down the stretch? Kansas in the last 3 minutes do what they usually do in this building. I think more impressive. The most impressive stat to me is since 07-08 season, the year they won it, I think they're 152 now and 3 if they hold on.
Since the start of the 07 season, they've lost 3 times. 3 times at home, which is just incredible.
Well, people will ask me next summer, can you dethrone Kansas? And I said the first thing you got to do is you got to go undefeated at home, because if you don't, Kansas is.
Right. And that is what Kansas is about to do, put the finishing touches on an undefeated home season. That'll be 3 free throws from Monte Morris.
You think back to February 13th when Kansas went into Oklahoma. Oklahoma had a chance to go undefeated at home. Kansas came in there, got the job done. Kansas trying to make it 32 in a row on Senior Day.
And serenading the seniors. That stat is unbelievable. More Big 12 regular season titles, a dozen than losses here at Allen Fieldhouse. He's going to improve to 206-9 here at Fog Allen. Coming up next, College Game Day covered by State Farm. Reese J. and the coach, Seth Greenberg from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Well, Iowa State had an opportunity to knock off #1 here at home, but in the end, Kansas able to get it done. The 4 seniors honored, including Perry Ellis pregame, 22 points for Perry, the Kansas native. Bill Self, who recruited him starting with his first high school game. Perry Ellis said, yeah, I remember him being there. I remember looking over the bench and seeing him sitting there.
Well, he got recruited by the country, but there was very little doubt as to where he was going to end up and play his college basketball.
And Perry Ellis is the cliche in terms of academics, a young man representing your program. He brings it all, and the growth and the improvement on the court as a player, just really impressive, and he gets a great hand. In his usual understated way. If there's any chance at the end of the game we could get
Brandon Green to dunk it?
No.
No.
I was going to say Niang and Perry to play one-on-one. I'd love to see that to 5. Kansas wins it on senior day. 85-78 the final. Perry Ellis, 22 points. And the Jayhawks ended on a 17-7 run. Fran, Iowa State had the opportunity to pick up this win.
They didn't get the stops down the stretch, but credit Kansas, John. Bill Self put his team in position last 3 minutes to score key points, starting with that isolation to Perry Ellis.
Perry Ellis, quite a day. The senior from Wichita. Honored pregame. Stepped out, knocked down the 3 for his first bucket of the day. And did it inside and outside.
You know, there are fans playing Kansas bingo, right? So I'm going to help him.
Go.
He was also the valedictorian at Wichita Heights High School and a 4-year All-Stater. Just helping out, guys.
40 straight wins at Allen Fieldhouse. And here is Holly Rowe with Perry Ellis.
Perry, you led your team in scoring today. What was your focus to go out and make a statement as your last game in this building?
You know, put it all out on the line. You know, I just wanted to make sure we get the win. You know, I try to do whatever it took.
With 3 minutes left in this game, Bill Self said in the huddle, what we do is we close games. You guys went on an 11-0 run. Why is it that you're so good at that role?
You know, over time, you know, we have a lot of veteran guys, and we've been in a lot of tight situations, and, you know, we just fought through it, and we believed in ourselves.
As you walk off this floor for the last time, Perry, what is it that you want Jayhawk fans to remember about you forever?
You know, somebody that just wanted to do the best they could every day, you know, and just try to be a positive role model.
It's not over, though. What are your hopes for March, moving forward to the Big 12 tournament and Big Dance?
You know, just take it game by game. You know, we're trying to make this Final Four push.
Thank you, Perry.
Thank you.
Kansas wins it at home, 40 straight wins at Allen Fieldhouse, 85-78. The final score, the #1 team in the country picks up the win, and Perry Ellis with 22 points. Coming up next, College Game Day covered by State Farm. For Fran Fraschilla and Holly Rowe, I'm John Chambe saying so long from Lawrence, Kansas.